Mo, you've been watching a lot of EuroBasket, doing some videos for Offside as well, breaking down these games. Germany won that game 88-83. That was a fun game, man. Turkey just didn't quite have enough juice down the stretch of that game, but Germany closed well with Schroeder leading the way.
Yeah, Turkey just couldn't finish it off. Really, like they were leading most of this game, and every time it looked like Germany was going to make a run, Turkey would put it away, put it up to 6-7 points. Germany would keep making a run. It looked like that kind of game, but then Germany was able to get over the hump. Dennis Schroeder obviously makes 2 big buckets down the stretch and really kind of seals the win for them. Isaac Bonga, 4 for 4 from 3. I was not ready for that. Really kind of going off. But the guy for the German team that was absolutely phenomenal throughout the whole course of the tournament was Franz Wagner. He was amazing throughout the way he played. Didn't shoot the 3 ball all that well, but the way he kind of just attacked the rim was relentless, was so quick in transition, and all the stuff that he was making. And not just that, it was the attitude and confidence that he had, and that one had me hyped up, where I was like, if I'm a Magic fan, I'm going nuts. I'm like, I can't wait to get this guy back in our blue and white and ready to roll, because this dude's ready. Like, this is a guy, we saw him kind of start to take the leap last year, got that oblique tear, and then it sort of kind of fell apart there. And then he had, his numbers were the same, were pretty similar, but it just never felt like he had the magic again. I'm fired up if I'm a Magic fan, because I just think he's ready to go with just the way he played in this one. This is a small launching pad for him, where I think he's really going to take another leap going into next season. I like what the Magic are set up to do, but he was phenomenal throughout the course of this tournament.
Yeah, Franz, look, you mentioned he didn't shoot the ball well. I mean, I would love if Franz Wagner shot the ball well, because if he does, he's had top 10, top 15 potential. But even without the jumper falling, the dude just is a winning player, Mo. Like the defense, the awareness, the passing, the at-rim finishing. The dude checks literally every single box, everything. He's a winner, period. And I think for the Magic moving forward with him, very exciting. Very exciting to have him and, Paolo Banchero and now Desmond Bane joining that roster as well. I think with Tristan da Silva as well, having a good tournament as well for Germany. He was 5 for 9 with 13 points in that gold medal game against Turkey. Encouraging to see him taking steps as well. Dennis Schroeder closed that game incredibly well. As I said, that talk now, is he an NBA Hall of Famer? I'm like, I'm a basketball Hall of Famer. He's not. There's no NBA Hall of Fame. There probably should be, but as a basketball Hall of Famer, I'd settle down a little bit there. But he maybe a couple more medals over the course of time, perhaps. I don't know.
They need some more wins before we're going to start crowning him that stuff. But it is funny how when these guys put on the national team uniform, how they become superheroes, right? Like we've seen it across several, Patty Mills, when he puts on the Boomers uniform, all of a sudden it transforms himself into another level. Like, Dennis Schroeder's a great example of it. We've seen it from so many guys. It's pretty amazing with all that stuff. He's such an important piece for that team, for that national team. Like, this is an exciting team to keep an eye on, through the course of it, because they do have some nice talent, across the board. They got nice depth in terms of big men with Daniel Tice and, rolling in a good situation. Like, this is going to be an interesting team. Mo Wagner didn't even play in this tournament for the most part. I think it's going to be a team to watch for going forward, but it's going to be all Franz down the road.
I just want to ask a quick about Isaac Bonga, because Bonga is a guy who really, it was a struggle in the NBA for him, but he's been really good playing in Europe. Last 3 seasons internationally, he shot 38.3% from 3. So it's not necessarily an outlier that he shot the hell out of it. And this very tiny, small sample size of EuroBasket, over 40% from 3. He's been shooting well. He looked great defensively. Look, we saw Gershon Yabusele a year ago become a steal of a signing for the Sixers. Now he's with the Knicks. This summer, the Suns are trying that out with Nigel Hayes, who's over 30. I'm a bit less optimistic about him, but they're giving it a try with getting a Euro player or an American player who spent time in Europe. And then, of course, PJ Tucker in the past, among others. Bonga, what did you see, Mo? Do you think he's deserving of another chance in the NBA? Do you feel like this stint could be successful for him after what you saw in EuroBasket?
I think so. I think sometimes you need that time to mature and kind of get away from the league. Listen, there's a massive difference also in international basketball and Euro League versus the NBA in terms of just the amount of practice time you get, the time in between games. They only play like 2, maybe 3 games in a week, at most. And I feel like you have a little more time to kind of find your rhythm and your flow and whatnot. And he could be a late developing guy. He'd be a guy I'd take a flyer on if I was a team. I don't know if I'd put anything more than a vet minute out there for him, but he's a guy you definitely want to at least take a look and see like, hey, is there something here? Is this something that can be a piece for us going forward? We know how important being able to stretch the floor. Shooting 38% from 3 is something not to sneeze at, right? Like that's a big number, especially for a guy like him, where you're hoping with his long range, lankiness and things like that he'd be able to kind of help you defensively and bring a little more juice and be kind of a 3-and-D guy. It would be somebody I would take a flyer on. I don't know if it's not the same as Yabusele. Yabusele was like killing teams, in a way where I think was a bit like he really kind of exploded in the Olympics games with the way he was playing, and especially was taking it to Team USA. So I think there's a level of people felt more confident because of he was playing against NBA players in the Olympic Games, meaning the NBA team, basically the USA team. So I think it'll be interesting there. I would take a flyer on him. I don't know if teams are really going to do that yet, though. It kind of sucks so late in the year that I feel like rosters are kind of set.
Yeah, and I believe his buyout date has passed as well. So this might be a next summer type of thing, unless the team is willing to buy him out. On the Turkey side of things, we see Şengün spinning and taking threes and doing a little bit of everything in that game. Scores 28 points in the game. Didn't quite seem to have a lot of gas down the stretch. Ran out a little bit down the finish of that game. He played only 30 minutes. We saw Cedi Osman's play all 40. Shane Larkin played 38 for Turkey. They could have gotten a little bit more out of Şengün. Maybe the result would have been different, but it's hard to ask. He had 28 points. He had a great game. I don't mean to downplay it at all. He had a great EuroBasket tournament. I felt like he looked like a guy ready to take a leap for Houston this year. But what did you see from the Şengün side of the Turkey side, Mo?
Aside, I thought he did everything he possibly could in this game. I mean, there were points where it was like Germany could not stop him. Daniel Theis had no answer for him. He was getting cooked every which way. He didn't step out for 3. He was jab step 3. He had a beautiful drive middle spin baseline jump hook on Theis. Like he was really he had a Smitty at one point too. I was like jumping up and down going like, holy crap, this guy's taking it to another level. I thought he was the best player in the tournament. I don't think it was close. I thought he, in the biggest win for Turkey was beating Serbia in the group, or Serbia in the group stage. And he destroyed Jokic. I shouldn't say destroyed, but he outdueled Jokic in that game. He was taking it to him. He was doing everything in that game.
And it was one of the down Charizard in that. That's what it was.
Yeah. I don't know what that is.
You don't know Pokemon?
No, sorry.
No Pokemon?
No, I'm an adult. The whole
You're once a child.
Yeah, Pokemon. I'm old, Kevin. I'm old, Kevin. I know I look young and look great, but I'm old. But I just think like he really did take it to him, and I felt like there were just moments where you're just like, this is another level. And again, the whole EuroBasket, there were a lot of guys I thought who really kind of stepped up. You're a Houston fan. You're looking at this going like, hell yeah, with KD coming in, our offense is going to be better. Like you have a guy like Şengün, you got to feel super confident. I agree with you in that he's going to take a massive leap. I don't know if is he a most improved guy? Is this the guy that we should be looking at? Or is he already too far up to win most improved?
I'd say he's a most improved guy. I mean, that's the funny thing is about this tournament. Like you can make that argument for Franz Wagner as well. Like, could he be a most improved guy? Depending on what type of leap he takes this season. I do think Şengün belongs to that conversation. I think that's ultimately what's been great to watch this tournament is seeing like some of these current and former NBA guys play on this stage, like Giannis. They Great game down the stretch against Finland. Missed free throws by Finland. Giannis hits both. They go up 3 late in the game. Giannis called the EuroBasket medal his greatest accomplishment ever, even more than 50 points in a closeout game in the NBA Finals, I suppose.
I was going to say having a kid, but
Yeah.
But that matters. Like, I don't think. Here's the thing.
Well,
I don't think
he didn't pump out the kid.
Yeah, handed it.
It's a lot of work.
I would say the thing I don't think people understand about these national things and why it means so much to these guys is like Greece. I mean, I don't know the last time they medaled. Was the Olympics, right? Like way back in 2004, I think, just off the top of my head. I don't know how they've done in the EuroBasket over the years, but like it's a prideful thing. In that sense of representing your country, there's a level of pride. And even the Team USA guys talk about, like, it really does mean a lot for them. And, for a place like Greece, for Turkey, Finland, Germany, all these places, like, it means so much to win that for the country. There's a lot of pride there. And I think it matters a ton for these guys. So I actually kind of get it when he makes that comment,
sure.
and he had said, like, yeah, I win the MVP, I make my mom and family happy. When I win the championship, I make Milwaukee happy. But, when I win the medal, win a medal for Greece, that's 13, 15 million people happy. Like, he feels super like he's bringing joy to everybody. And I think that matters in a fun way for these guys.
Of course. And ultimately, that's why I think that involving EuroBasket, there's the strong debate of naturalized players that are allowed to play on these teams. I think with Shane Larkin, it's a different conversation, him playing for Turkey. He's been playing in the Turkish league for 7-8 years now. And so I think it's a little bit different there compared to some of the other players like Jordan Lloyd, among others, who just sign right up for the team. And it's like, really? Yeah. It's just free agency? Like, I think someone replied to me yesterday after Turkey lost. I think it was a Turkish follower who said, like, Shane Larkin can't feel the same pain of that loss that like Furkan Korkmaz can. Like, he gets essentially benched in the game. They lose. Like, there's real tears, emotion after the game, and I think that's incredibly fair, and it's a complicated conversation, but a complicated debate among fans of the European basketball fans. But ultimately, I tend to side on the side of, I don't think the naturalized players should be allowed unless they play like a number of years in the country and become an assistant, kind of like Shane Larkin has for Turkey.
Yeah, like Shane's a different example because he's been there for so long. Like, having been there for 7 years, it's a different level. And I kind of disagree with the guy, with the person who tweeted. I understand what he's coming from, but I also think, like, Shane probably felt that, man. Like, you are carrying the weight of the country with that, coming in and putting on those jerseys. And there's a level of representing properly. Like, I feel like it, listen, I wasn't a player. I worked for Team Australia. I felt it when we lost. It hurt me when we lost. I was disappointed. I was pissed, and I wanted to have an opportunity for the team to medal, and this is 2012 London Olympics. We lose the first game to Brazil, and that kind of put us on track to have to play Team USA in the knockout stage, and we were frustrated right off the bat. And, you feel that stuff. You invest all this time. And when you're a player who's played in the country for 7 years, it's not only that, all the training camps. He's played with the Turkish team a few times. Like, this isn't like his first go in a tournament. He's been with them for a while. Like, these are his brothers. Like, this matters. I feel like he feels it. So I'm with you on, like, you got to have played in the country for a while before I feel like you should be able to play for the national team.
Anything else stand out to you, Mo? I know when we were texting prior to recording, you mentioned Lauri Markkanen, his tournament. How do you think some of these other guys in the tourney can use this as a springboard for next season?
Yeah, Lauri Markkanen was one of those guys where, look, he struggled last year after signing the contract extension. There's all that stuff that, like, he had an amazing run. He didn't shoot it well still, like, I think was a problem, but he was phenomenal throughout the course of it, really kind of carrying this Finnish team, all the way. He had some monster explosive plays, the way he kind of would just drive down the lane, get down to the basket, and just dunk on people and things like that. Like, I love the way he played. And don't forget, when he first went to the Jazz, and had that big run, that year he ended up, I think he was an All-Star even. It was coming off of the EuroBasket, right? We were all talking about how Will Hardy was incorporating the stuff he saw from the Finnish team into the offense to get Lauri going. This is a good way to kind of get him going again after a bit of a down year. I know the situation in Utah is not great with just the whole, they're tanking. I'm sorry. Like, and to be honest, even if they weren't tanking this year, they're not going to be good enough. They'll probably be just be taking because everybody else is so good, I think, in the West. And I think that'll put them in a tough spot. But seeing him kind of rise up and play and shake that stuff off, again, it's another one of those teams and fan bases that should be excited when he comes back, in October, to see him kind of get going and seeing that flow, because we want to see him kind of continue what he was doing for Finland. We want to see him continue to do that for the Jazz. Yeah,
and ultimately, I do think with Lauri, this team, they don't need to trade him to be bad to be in the lottery. The West is too strong up top, but ultimately, my prediction with the Jazz this year is that Lauri is going to be so good that teams are going to be going after him as the final piece, because Lauri plays a style that can fit literally any system, any type of style. You play a little bit more stagnant, that's okay. He can be spot up shooter who attacks closeouts, runs pick and roll. You play with motion and movement. Yeah, he can screen for you. He can slip to the 3-point line. He can slip to the basket. He can be the handler. He can be the screener. Lauri Markkanen can plug into literally any team. And I think he's the type of player, an all-star caliber player, where it's rare that you can do that mid-season with him, just because just the way he plays meshes with any type of player. And so for the Utah Jazz this year, Mo, they're going to be bad. Hopefully they're fun. Hopefully there's a lot to feel good about. But with Lauri Markkanen, I think he's going to be so good, especially following EuroBasket, that teams are going to be going very, very hard after him. All right, Mo, let's talk about
to bring it full circle real quick. I really think the Warriors should have traded for him last offseason.
Oh, yeah,
there was a lot of smoke. There was all the stuff where they didn't want to include Brandon Podemski or whatnot. You can just add that to the list of, I think, misses. I think this would have been he would be such a fit for this Warriors team that I think it was a real miss on their end. Sorry, Kevin, interrupt. I just wanted to get that.
You're right.
I have to get some things off my chest sometimes, man. It's been a long time before we got going again in basketball. I got things to get off my chest.
You're right, Mo. And ultimately, I think that's like everybody talks about Giannis as the dream piece for the Warriors. I think it's just going to stay a dream. To me, the achievable guy to go after is Lauri Markkanen. If you can package Kuminga plus salary filler with a bunch of future first-round draft picks that appeases that Jazz front office, which would rightfully demand a lot from Golden State, you go and get that guy. Because if you're serious about winning, he's a perfect fit next to Stephen Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler. Lauri Markkanen, to me, is priority number one for the Golden State Warriors. That's who they should be going after. That's why it's important for them to get Kuminga to sign a deal that works in the salary, because of the promise of maybe going to get a guy like Lauri Markkanen. But we'll see how that all plays out there. First, I need Kuminga to actually sign the deal.
Sign the deal so they can trade him.
Yeah, sign the deal.